Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a precocious little boy who loved his family and friends, but could never ignore his not-so-secret passion. And so, as fate would have it, there was always a space in his heart just for his games. And so here we are, at the end of Season 3, with Benji's Top 100 Games of All Time. 50. Root. Wholly asymmetrical area control based wargaming, Batman. This is how you make a central set of core rules that is easy to learn and then devolve all the complexity to each of the differing factions you can play. Absolutely brilliant design that marks way up there in the replayability stakes. 49. 51st State. Set in a post-apocalyptic-ish world, this game of multifunctional cards and a decent amount of take that sees you exchanging and gathering resources in order to gain points and build the city of your questionable dreams. But yep, I lost where I was going with that. 2 words to finish: seamless and smooth. 48. Legendary, a Marvel deck building game. My word, this is hanging on for dear life as it barely gets to the table anymore. But thematically, this deck builder works great as you battle along a track of minions and supervillains where fighting to the death is completely optional. Scenario dependent. Endlessly customizable, this is a system that still purrs. 47. Sushi Go Party. If you want to introduce card drafting from your hand to another human being, you flop out Sushi Go and have at it. Pick the best complement of raw fish over the course of 3 mini meals and leave room for dessert to make the absolute best of this chowder of a set collection game. 46. Genshin Clever. Is bloody clever in the sense that it's so addictive to play. Whether it's high score solo or competitive shenanigans, this game of rolling dice, losing some for the subsequent reroll if you get greedy, and marking numbers has that simplicity and replayability formula down pat. 45. Nemo's War is one of the most well-respected solo games of all time for a reason. Yes, you can play multiplayer, but just because a crab can walk forwards doesn't mean it should. I know full well when I sit down to the table I'm getting quite brilliant strategic, push your luck, mission-based storytelling fare, and that makes me smile. 44. Gloom of Kilforth. Whilst it's the gloom that brings the hard counter for the game's duration, it's the hybrid role-playing, hand management and set collection that grab you by the short and curlies. There really is any number of different ways the quests and encounters can play out, and that's all the fun you need. 43. Cascadia. Takes vanilla tile placement, sprinkles some light fairy dust and comes out the other side feeling fresh and vibrant. Adding an extra dimension to the game's objectives, as it's not just about where you place the habitat tiles, but also where you put the animal tokens that you draft at the same time. Elegance, baby. 42. The Quacks of Quedlinburg. This bag building game ekes out every last morsel of tension a push your luck game can muster. Just one more chip from the bag and I'm done, I promise. The different tokens you buy just add all the variability you could want from a game like this. Quacks surpass my expectations and then some. 41. Everdell, aka the absolutely delightful tableau building worker placement game with the unnecessary gigantic tree on your table. Don't be fooled by its attractive nature, you need your best city building pants on to chart the most efficient and synergistic path to victory. Start slow, finish big, it's a cracker. 40. Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. Takes away the board from Big Mama TM, but adds player selected actions, meaning the control you have over what you can do each turn is always hit and miss. But as far as engine building goes, this is everything I love about its parent, with slightly better production. 39. Zombicide. Oh, you gloriously cathartic little cooperative dice chucker. This is a lose your inhibitions, bring your own chainsaw and shotgun and mow down hordes and hordes of zombies game. For all the family. Is this so high on the list because it re-invoked my passion for the hobby? Probably, but I defy anyone not to get something out of this one. 38. Imperium. This medium deck builder is the game equivalent of a book that you can't initially get into, but yet you can't put it down. It's iconographic, not particularly easy to get your head round, but oh my, the layers to this onion are represented perfectly by each of the different playstyles found in the game's factions. 37. Nemesis. A game dripping with atmosphere that tells the semi-cooperative story of crew members on a spaceship. The actions you choose to move, interact with rooms, and prepare yourself for inevitable battle are all enabled through discarding multifunctional cards from your hand. Flawed, but absolutely brilliant. 36. Blood Rage. This area control game with exemplary card drafting and combat resolution is one of the few games that everyone seems to enjoy. Maybe it's the theme, maybe it's the pitch perfect complexity that make it so accessible. Either way, I like it a great deal, and lots of other people do too. 35. Marvel Crisis Protocol. I predicted this. My poor old Marvel Universe Miniatures game would go the way of the dodo. This is almost the same game, to be honest, but it's new, constantly churning out new content, and so who am I to complain that I have to buy all these superheroes twice? Ooh, 3D printers. Great game. 34. Dwellings of Eldervale. An adjacency-based worker placement, area control and tableau building game that's almost too all over the place, but it just works. The actions you take are so precious you need to make the most out of each and every one of them, and that won't be easy on a modular board full of unpredictability and conflict. 33. Android Netrunner. This asymmetric card dueling game that sees you take the role of a hacker or a big nasty corporation is so delightfully fun and challenging no matter which role you play, that it matters not one jot that this card game is as dead as it gets. But what you call dead, I call complete. A boom. 32. The Taverns of Tiefenthal. The aesthetic follow-up to Quacks of Quedlinburg hits me even more in the pickles and sees you as the landlord of a local taverna. It's deck building that sees you placing patrons and workers, which you then activate by drafting dice that combines to make a fine ass game. 31. Thunderstone Quest. I make no secret of my love for the Thunderstone series. Its predecessor was my first and favourite deck builder, and this current iteration did more than enough to make me a happy camper. If you want to take a deck out for a spin in a dungeon and slay some big nasties, then you'll get your fix here 8 days a week. 30. Too Many Bones. Dice Builder RPG. This was my Jerry Maguire moment. They had me at those 3 words. This combat-centric adventure that uses poker-type chips to represent pretty much everything sees you leveling up and gaining access to more and more unique dice that empower your abilities. Giggity. 29. Raiders of the North Sea. I often wonder why something so awesome had never been done before, but place a worker taken action, remove a worker taken action is up there with the best of them. Here you play Viking raiding parties, picking up resources and turning them into combat power, but that's just the icing on the cake. 28. Warhammer Underworlds. Hexes and Warhammer. Get Donald Duck up here so I can shout his name. What surprises you outside of the solid dice rolling, movement and combat mechanics is the deck construction elements that both bring your warband to life and allow you to tailor it to your playstyle. 27. Dinosaur World. Dinosaur Island piqued my interest, but the acid trip artwork made me say no. Jewelasaur Island made me partially regret that decision, but I needn't have feared, because this is Jurassic Park the board game. Resource management, entertaining the masses, stopping dinos from eating people. It's all here, and it's all good. And 26, Viscounts of the West Kingdom. Everyone has their favourite wacky game. Could this be mine? Yes, I have a thing for deck building, but this only splashes it. However, it mixes quite a few other things into the pot as well. Playing round and round you go with your workers, constructing buildings and working towards poverty, posterity, or both. And that there concludes this here segment of Benji's Fantastic Games of All Time. Be sure to check back next time as I enunciate from 25 to the number 1. Alas, I have been the voice in your head, and this video has ended.